I have a mic, I don't have lights, I don't even have a camera.
It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna sound so dumb.
Descript will take care of it for you.
I'm not gonna do it.
You're the only person who can make reinsurance interesting.
Well, on video, I look like a freak.
Just hit record and Descript will do the rest.
All right, I'll do it. Here we go. In today's world, what doesn't affect your understanding the impact can be difficult. The reinsurance world is built on understanding, predicting, and managing risk on a global level. It's the most powerful predictive system on Earth. Sweet. Welcome to another Descript webinar. I'm Adrien, and I am a video producer here at Descript and your co-host for today's webinar. Joining me once again is the super duper insanely talented video producer extraordinaire, Ramdy Marte. Tell him what's up, Ramdy.
What up, y'all? If you want to know how I'm doing, my left shoulder has been spasming for like the past hour. Why? Who knows? It's just a part of life, I guess.
Spasms are very, very annoying, especially when they come from random body parts.
Yeah.
All right. So today, Ramdy and I will be your guides on your video editing journey through Descript, the one project workflow for teams done bouncing between apps. I know we got folks tuning in from all over. Go ahead and let us know in the comment section where you're based. Let's see. Oh, we got Lagos, Nigeria. We got Germany in the house. Myself, I'm based here, or I'm in our SF studio right now, but I'm based in Oakland. Ramdy, where are you at?
I'm at New York. So nice. First and foremost, just want to say Nixon 5.
Hey.
Did it. Yeah, parade was today. Didn't go, but I was there in spirit.
Nice. Are you doing any sort of Knicks celebrations, like post celebrations?
Nothing much. I was in the city out clubbing the night they won. So that was a very, very nice experience. I'm gonna be telling my grandkids that when I'm like 80. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that your team finally pulled it through and delivered.
It's about damn time.
So we got Santa Clara in the house. We got Houston. We got North Carolina. We got Canada. We have Albania. We got Colorado. We got Pennsylvania. We got Green Bay, Wisconsin. We got Orlando, Florida. We got Charlotte, North Carolina. We got Illinois, Northern California, NorCal, USA. We got Brazil, France, Bora Bora, Vietnam, the Bay Area. We got Tampa, Florida, Treasure Coast, Florida, Suffolk, Virginia. Awesome. We got people tuning in from all over. All right. Just some quick general housekeeping. As a reminder, throughout this session, feel free to drop your questions in the YouTube chat, and we'll do our best to answer them either throughout the webinar or at the very end. We'll also have a Q&A. This session will be recorded. If you want to review it, you'll also get an email with the link at the end. If you need more in-depth help with anything, feel free to check out help.descript.com. So the agenda for today, we are going to talk about your current workflow. In the comment section, go ahead and drop in what your current workflow looks like, what app you're using, or what apps you are using to complete a video. Then we will jump into the live demo. Then we'll answer some questions. So feel free to share your questions in the chat throughout the webinar. Let's see. Let me jump in the chat and see what we got. What are current people's workflows looking like? We got London in the house. We got somebody tuning in from the cold void of outer space. Nice.
Heard it's nice over there.
Yeah, nice and quiet.
Yeah. Very chill. It's a nice place to settle down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Right. Okay, so we got mainly CapCut and Canva. So someone jumping between those two platforms. We got Zoom, Google Meet, Android, Descript, Gemini, and Canva. Now that is a stack if I ever saw. We got Flow, CapCut, DaVinci, Descript, depends on the task. Yep. Somebody just starting, need to define their workflow. We can help you with that. We got another Zoom. We got Zoom and Canva. Awesome. A lot of Zoom. For all of our folks using Zoom, not sure if you're aware, but we do have rooms, which means you can record your interview or podcast right into Descript. Let's see. Stored the videos on OneDrive to free space on my device. Then I edit with CapCut. Awesome. Descript, DaVinci, Canva and CapCut, MS Teams, Canva, Adobe Suite. Cool. In the chat, we just dropped a link to if you want to find out more about how to incorporate rooms into your workflow. Cool. So we got a variety of people using different apps. Awesome. Cool. So who is this webinar for? This webinar is for big teams. It's for small teams. It's for solo creators who end up bouncing between a lot of different tools and apps just so you can ship one single video. So this webinar is for you. Our goal, by the end of our session, you'll have a repeatable workflow that you can use across all of your projects inside of Descript. All right, so the scenario. So the shoot went well. Now you have the recording. The story is there, and the deadline you set for yourself and your client made total sense. But then life starts lifing. You got kids to pick up, you got dinner to make, you got dry cleaning to pick up, you got a lot to do. You got projects coming in from left and right, more than you expected. Then suddenly you don't have as much time as you thought you did to edit this video for your client or yourself. As the clock is ticking, you're editing in one tool, then you're exporting to another tool to clean the audio, then exporting to another tool to add captions, then exporting to another tool to clip your video for social media. Every export, render, re-upload is a time suck. But what if you could do all of that in one single tool? And that is where, my friends, Descript comes in. Your all-in-one video editing tool. If you're on a team, feel free to book a demo. There is a QR code on the screen. Just go ahead and take a photo of that. All right. And with that, let's jump into the demo. Please allow me to reintroduce the man, the myth, the legend, Ramdy Marte. Take it away, my friend.
Yes, it's time. It's time to get editing. Yeah, in case you want to know what the weather's like where I'm at, on the bottom left it says 84 and windy. So I want you guys to feel immersed with me. Yeah.
Sweating over here.
Sweating. The AC's blasting over here. Yeah. So in Descript, you can basically take a raw recording, whether it be video, whether it be audio, and put it in here and have it be a final video without ever having to leave the app, which is not something that a lot of other platforms can say. First of all, you can either import your own recording or you can just record directly into Descript. So if I click on the record button here, you see we have a couple options. I can just record my camera. I can do screen recordings here. I can do audio recordings. And I can also record with others, which is what Adrien mentioned earlier with rooms. You can invite other people. You can invite co-hosts, and all their recordings will be recorded separately and uploaded straight into your project. So you don't have to worry about lagging. You don't have to worry about exporting and importing and blah, 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 all that stuff. It'll be nice and smooth. As soon as you finish recording, it all gets uploaded here. And if you already have Zoom recordings or you just want to stick with that workflow for some reason, you can also import your Zoom recordings. So there's a lot of different options here. But for me, for this demo, I'm going to have a video that I already import. Now, for this demo, let me just show you guys real quick what we're going to be working on here. This is actually a video that was posted, I think, a couple weeks ago on our channel. Let me play a little snippet for you guys.
Welcome back, fellow Descriptians. I've literally never said that before. I don't know why I started now. But as you guys know, I've been doing a little challenge, a little experiment, if you will, of making a video in just one day. Honestly, less than one day. A lot of them I did in a few hours. But now that I got 5 of these suckers under my belt, I want to talk about the things that I learned and took away from this challenge. Because
cool, a nice little snippet, and then we're also going to be making a short from the same video, which is going to look a little something like this.
I've been doing a little challenge of making a video in just one day. And the first thing that I really took away from this experience was it really killed my...
Cool, so that's what we're going to be making here today. So first things first, we're going to import our footage. So again, I'm going to preach this again and again till the day I die. Organization, that is the way that you edit correctly, because if you don't organize your files, your footage, it's just not going to be a very nice time. So the way I like to do it, every editor is a little bit different, especially depending on what stuff you need to make. I like to have 3 folders, one for my video files, one for my audio files, and one for graphics, which is just anything else I'm importing, any sort of B-roll that I already have downloaded that I want to use, any logos, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to upload our video. And boom. Now there's 2 files here. We'll give my speaker name, which is Ramdy. We'll keep these separate for now. Now there's 2 files here. The audio file is actually already attached to this video file here, but for demonstration purposes, you can actually also have multi-track sequences here, which we're not going to dive too much into that here. But basically, if you recorded your video and audio separately, you don't have to sync those up in a different program and then import them into Descript. You can also do that just here. So I'll take these 2 files and I'll click on Create Sequence, and we'll do that. And then these, I believe these are already synced up because they're the same length. But if they were not synced up, let's say this one was a little off like this, you can also line them up very nice and easy, and then mute your camera audio if that's the one that you don't want to use. And yeah, so no needing to sync up things in other programs here. You can do all that stuff over
I
here.
think
So
I think
oh,
we
go ahead.
have automatic sync coming soon, right?
Yes, yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, so you won't have to go in there and with your eye and kind of sync it up. We do have automatic sync coming soon, which will make it a lot easier. But we don't need to use a sequence for this. That's just so that you know it's there. We'll throw our video onto our composition, and we will rename this. We will go what I learned video raw. So basically, the way I like to edit is in stages. And the first thing I do is I throw my raw recording onto the timeline, and I like to keep that composition there. So we're going to switch over to our other project where all this stuff is already uploaded. Boom. So yeah, as you can see, I have my raw composition here, 5 videos in 5 days, lessons learned. So I actually don't do anything in this composition. I just leave this raw completely unedited, and I don't touch it. And the reason I have this composition is because later on, when I'm cutting things out, if I ever want to bring back another take or just review something from the raw recording for any other reason, I can always just go back into my raw composition and I can copy things, paste things, whatever I want to do. So I make that composition, we leave it untouched, and then I duplicate that composition. We'll delete raw here, and we will go with rough cut. So now we're on to the first stage, if you will, of how I like to edit, which is the rough cut. And basically, what the rough cut is it's taking out all those retakes, it's taking out all the fat of your video, all the stuff that you don't want in it. It's basically sequencing it up and lining it up to be the video that you want, minus any sort of effects. So we're going to do that real quick. Now, one thing you can also do either before or after you get into the rough cut, let's say my audio doesn't sound too good. You recorded off your phone mic or your laptop mic, or you have a guest who called in and they don't have professional equipment. I can just click on my video. I'll go into audio effects and I can throw studio sound on there, which will clean that up nice and pretty. And it kind of does all the hard work for you. A lot of times I'm someone who I have like fancy official audio programs where you can get really in there and clean things up. Honestly, a lot of the times I just use studio sound because it's a lot easier and you don't have to worry about it. But this audio already sounds pretty good, so we don't keep that enabled. But yeah, that's something that you have. So you don't need another program to clean things up. Just do it in Descript. We also have a lot of other audio effects. We have limiters, compressors, EQs. So if I wanted to be all nitty gritty and EQ my audio track, you can do that here. You don't have to do that in other programs, but we'll delete that for now. So yeah, a lot of audio effects here. So let's go into our rough cut. So the way I like to edit this is I like to go for the last take, and then watch that one back. And if I like the last take, I keep it and I delete all the other ones. If I don't like the last take, I'll watch the one before it, and I'll keep on doing that until I find a take I like. Now, if you're not familiar with Descript, you might be wondering what the hell is all this text? What's going on here? Yeah, one of the very fun and easy things about Descript, fun and easy. I've never described it that way. It just came out of my mouth. Is you edit your video by editing the text. So you don't have to be a pro editor to edit in Descript. If you've ever typed anything in your life ever, congratulations, I dubbed thee an editor. So let's see. I don't believe I had a script for this, so it's going to be a little bit more jarbled. So let's see. I think I start here. As you can see, there's a lot of moments of silence where I'm trying to like figure out. Well, I pause at a really great time where I'm trying to like figure out what I want to say. That's where I like to open the timeline. Now, you don't need the timeline, but if you want to be a little bit more granular and meticulous with your cuts, I like using the timeline. So I'll cut it like here. I'll click here and then press the S key, which adds a cut, just in case you don't know. And then I can delete this chunk, and it starts it right at the beginning. And if I believe in the official video, I even cut out these tiny little silences here. But we're not going to get that granular here, but that's something that you can do if you want. And then I can cut out this huge silence here. Cut out this little silence. Then I'll do another cut here. And then let's look at our script and see. I believe there's a few takes of this. Let's see. Let's go to the last one. Looks like it's this one.
Honestly, less than 1 day. A lot of them I did in a few hours.
Cool. I'm fine with that one. So we'll keep it. We don't have to watch the other ones. So I'll make another cut here. And all these other takes. Boom. Delete it.
1 day. Honestly, less than 1 day.
Just like that. So if you're someone who edits on a more traditional timeline and you're always having to kind of scrub through and rewatch and trying to like figure out where you are, you don't have to do that here. With your text, you automatically know you can just jump around your recording, and it's super nice and super easy. Now, this is the way I like to do rough cuts. I like to do them a lot more manually. You don't necessarily have to. You can either go into Underlord, which is our AI co-editor, who it's basically like a free editor intern for you. Or you can go into your AI tools and you can use Edit for Clarity. Either way, you can kind of shorten it up that way, and it'll basically make a rough cut for you. So if this is something that you either don't have time to do or you just don't want to do, you can delegate it to us and we'll do it. I hope I use that word right. So we'll keep going. A lot of them I did in a
few hours.
We'll do another split.
But now that I have 5,
as you can see, there's multiple takes here, so I'm going to look for the last one, which I believe is this one.
But now that I got 5 of these suckers under my belt, I want to talk about the things that I learned and took away from this challenge.
Cool. Again, we'll go through. Now, you can either cut in here in the timeline like I like to do, or you can just go into your scripts. I believe this is the last one. And boom, select it, delete it. Same way it gets cut out.
But now that I got...
Now I'll cut down this little silence a little bit.
In a few hours. But now that I got 5 of these suckers under my belt, I want to talk about the things that I learned and took away from this challenge.
And yeah, this is essentially how I do the rough cut. I just go through, watch all my takes, cut out all the fluff that I don't want in the video. So let's see just through that short little demonstration how much I got done so far.
Welcome back, fellow Descriptians. I've literally never said that before. I don't know why I started now. But as you guys know, I've been doing a little challenge, a little experiment, if you will, of making a video in just 1 day. Honestly, less than 1 day. A lot of them I did in a few hours. But now that I got 5 of these suckers under my belt, I want to talk about the things that I learned and took away from this challenge.
Boom. And what did that take me? Like, if I wasn't talking and explaining, that would have took me like a minute. So yeah, you can edit rough cuts very, very quickly in here. And the best thing about working in Descript is that anyone could do this. This doesn't necessarily have to be just you, especially if you have like a team of editors or a media team. All they need to be able to edit in this project is a project link, which is up here, little plus. You can just copy the project link. You can invite them to the project. And they can hop in here and make any edit that you want. So there are a lot of other programs where you have to either share all your files and then your project file, and then they have to like send it back after they made their edits. You don't have to do any of that complicated stuff here. You can just edit with the project link. You can edit on web. It doesn't have to be in a Descript app. You can edit online. So literally, if someone has a computer and they know how to type, they can make a rough cut for you. So the ease of use is awesome. So let's say we have our rough cut all nice and done, all nice and chopped up, which is about right here. Let's see. Let's play a little something.
Been making videos for years. I feel like there's a lot of things that I learned, or at least were really hammered into my head when it comes to making videos, that I feel are really gonna benefit my just overall mentality and process in my video creation workflow. And the first
Cool. So as you can see over here, we have about 7 minutes after our rough cut. So in our raw recording here, we took this from about 26 minutes to 7 minutes. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of stuff that we cut out, and with Descript, that just makes it super nice and easy. So now what I'll do, that I have my rough cut nice and finalized, I will duplicate this composition and leave it as like this. We'll rename this to be the fine cut. And basically the fine cut is your finished, polished video. And we're going to attack the fine cut in 2 stages. So the first stage of editing was the rough cut. The second stage is going to be picture lock. And basically what picture lock is where you finalize all the visuals of your video. So all the video effects, all the transitions, all the layouts, which we'll get to in a bit, all that kind of stuff. I like to tackle that next. Now in this intro. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, Ramdy. Do you find yourself making like duplicate composition, like copies of your composition each time you make like a big change, so that you can go back in case you're like, oh shit, I didn't like that.
Yeah,
how that turned out.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely, especially with like bigger projects. If you I think this is really good for projects where there's a lot of notes coming in from a lot of different people. A lot of times I'll have this as like a fine cut V1, fine cut version 1. So when I'm finished with a fine cut version 1 and I send it out and people give their notes on it, and they're like, we want to change this. Can you cut this out? Blah, blah, blah. You can do all that stuff without losing your V1 cut. So you can just duplicate your cut and name it Fine Cut V2. So I can make whatever changes I want to this composition, and it's not going to affect my V1 composition. So yeah, if you want to take a really big swing at your edit, bring it in another direction, you don't have to be afraid to change things up a lot, because if you duplicate your composition first and then edit in a new one, you can make as many different variations of your edit as you want, and they're all still there for you to choose from. So yeah, that's a very useful thing, especially if you're working in projects where there's a lot of notes and a lot of rounds. So yeah, for picture lock, let's start here.
Fellow Descriptians.
So yeah, for here, let's say I want to do a couple zoom ins here to kind of like emphasize the awkwardness a little bit, I guess.
Welcome back, fellow Descriptians.
So the way you would do that is you would make scenes. Now, scenes are basically little containers where you change the way your video looks or sounds in that specific container. Let me show you. So let's say here we want to do a zoom in, right? Where I say fellow Descript. We'll select our text and then I'll click on the slash. And as you can see, that made a scene. So any visuals I change in this boundary will only take effect in this little scene. So I'll go to properties and let's do a little zoom in. Now you can also do that in the scene editor if you want. You can just grab the corners, but I'm a little more traditional, so I like to be in the properties tab. So let's zoom it in a little bit, and let's say we want it to be like right here. So as you can see, if I play it back,
welcome back, fellow.
That zoom in only takes place in this specific scene. And if I wanted it to be like an animated zoom in, a very quick and easy way to do that is we'll click over here and we'll add a transition between the two scenes, and we'll add ourselves a smart transition. So
back, fellow.
It does that animation automatically.
Back, fellow.
So that's just an easy way that you can add like quick, fun little animations to your video without having to look at a keyframe or anything like that, which really, really cuts down time. So, but I like the static zoom in, so we'll keep that for now.
Back, fellow descriptians.
And let's say here, I want to do another big zoom in, a little bit bigger maybe.
Back, fellow descriptians. I've literally never said that before. I don't know why I started now. But as you guys know, I've been
in this section here, I talk about the videos I've been making on our YouTube channel, making a video in one day. Check those out if you haven't already. Shameless plug.
Experiment, if you will, of making a video in just one day. Honestly,
let's say for that whole section, we want to be playing one of the videos that I made as an example. So I believe I already have all the videos imported in here in my graphics tab. Let's see. We can scrub through and kind of see about like where the video is, about where we want to import. But let's see what episode I want to use. Let's say, let's just go with this one. Sure, why not? Or actually, let's go with this one, the top 10 list. So we'll drag that in here. And then we will just mute our audio because we don't want the audio playing. So we'll make sure that we have our video that we just dragged in. We have it selected. Then we'll mute our audio so it doesn't play.
No, I've been doing a little challenge, a little
cool. And then if you see here, we have a little start at section here. And this is where I can choose where I want my video to start at for this scene. So we'll keep scrolling until we find a spot. I kind of want to find a spot where I'm holding the camera. It's a little bit more like behind the scenes. Let's see, maybe like around here.
But as you guys know, I've been doing a little challenge, a little experiment, if you will, of making a video in just one day. Honestly,
cool. That's fine for me. Now, this looks fine, right? If we play it back.
I don't know why I started now. But as you guys know, I've been doing a little challenge.
But I want to add a more visual flair to this. And that's where layouts comes in and is super, super useful. So if I go to layouts, now there's a lot that you can choose from. This is the default one I like to use. But if you go to choose layout, if I want to change my layout pack, as you can see, there's a ton of options here that you can choose from. But we're going to stick with this one. So I will go into the layouts. I'll choose a media layout. And let's see, let's just go with this one. So we'll click on this one for the B-roll, and then I'll just paste in my video again. Ooh, change our source. So we'll bring this back. Then we'll change. So as you can see, it put my A-roll, my script track, in the media section. So an easy way to just change that is I'll just click on change source, and I'll change the source to the top 10 video. And then I'll take my script track and I will bring it behind everything. So real quick and easy, already just added a nice visual flair to this, and I didn't have to do anything.
Been doing a little challenge, a little experiment, if you will, of making a video in just one day.
So just like that, it added visual flair, and I just had to click a few buttons. And as you can see, it added smart transitions automatically. So if I go for,
now.
if
But
I
as you
click
guys
on,
know, I've been
does a nice little
now.
fade
But as
in.
you guys know,
I don't like that. I like static cuts. So we'll just go in and we'll just remove them. But if you wanted to keep them, you could do that. If you wanted to use any of our other transitions, you could easily do that. Very quick and easy. And even if I wanted to add like the title of that video itself, I could go into elements. I'll click on text. We'll make sure it spans the whole scene. And then we can change the font to whatever we want. We'll just go with this one. And then I don't know what the video title is off the top of my head. I'll just do video title. And then we'll do, how about this? We'll do YouTube, because that's where it is. And then I can just bring it to the top corner of my video. And then we'll go back to the properties and we can bring the opacity down a little bit. And just like that, I have a quoted video basically without having to do much.
If you will, of making a video.
So that's a very easy way to add visual flair to your video. For another section where I want to add kind of like a lower third, let's see. For example, where do I mention my first thing? Here it is. The first thing that I really took away from this experience was it killed my perfectionism. We'll play it.
And the first thing that I really took away from this experience was it really killed my perfectionism.
Perfect. I want a lower third to happen here, where it's like a number 1 and then perfectionism killed or whatever. So again, I'll just select all the text where I want my scene to be. And I'll click on the slash. Another way you can do it is you can just add slashes by themselves before and after you want the scene. But you can also just select the text and it'll do that automatically. So for here, I want to add that lower third. So again, let's go into our layouts. And let's see, what does the chapter look like? We can go for this one, which is me and the chapter next to me. We can go for these two, which is where it's just background and chapter. And I kind of like this one with the number and then the text, but I want to be in the shot as well. So we're gonna take this one and we're gonna mold it a little bit. So I think the great thing about layouts is they are not like finalized things, right? With a lot of templates where what you see is what you get. You can't adjust them. You can adjust any layout here to however you want. And that really makes it super fun and useful to make the shot look exactly how you want. On another platform, I might just be stuck with this shot because this is how it is. But in Descript, I want to take this background and let's bring it down a little bit to maybe around here, right? And then let's just select our script, which the opacity is turned off for this layout. So let's turn it back on. So there I am. And then we'll bring this one. We'll make that a little bit smaller. Bring it down here. And then we'll bring this text down here. That's looking good. Let's select all these layers, which you can do. You can multi-select. And let's say I want it to be about here. I think that looks good. Okay. We'll crop this to be about here. That's looking good to me. Now, this looks very boxy, which that might be fine for you. But for me, I want these curved edges here. That's something that you can do too. If I go into this curved edges section and just slide it, it can either curve all the edges, but I only want these two edges curved. So you can even get super granular and do that. I will check this box here, which allows me to edit all the curves individually. And let's say for these top two curves, we want it to be about 180. Boom.
The first thing that I really took away from this experience was it really killed my perfectionism. Because odds are,
and just like that, super easily, I made a lower third, took no time at all, and I was able to adjust my layout to actually make that instead of being, again, stuck with what I have. So we'll go through and then we'll just continue editing the whole video like this, which will lead us to here. This one, I think I named final. We'll just change that to fine cut. Oh, we didn't even get to audio. Let's get into audio real quick. Yeah, so let's say I have my whole video edited. I've picture locked good. And now is the next stage, which is the final mix, which is all the audio of our video. So the best thing about Descript, in my humble opinion, is this media library where you have all this video, photos, GIFs. I say GIFs, sue me. Any backgrounds, anything you can use, and it's free to use, and you won't get like shot down by a lawyer if you post it. So if you wanted to use a video for some reason, for whatever, I can do that. Let's say I want to use this one. I'll just throw it in here and boom, it's in my video now. I can do whatever I want with it. I can change the size, opacity. I can add effects. We can add a weird effect like invert if we wanted to. You can do whatever you want. It's your clip to do whatever you want with. So in the audio section, let's say I wanted to add in a whoosh sound. Let's say in this section here, if it was an animated zoom, let's say I wanted a little swoosh there. So I'll just go ahead and I'll add that to my video. It'll load in.
Welcome back, fellow Descriptian.
Cool. And if we want to make it a little bit quieter because it's a little loud, you can just go in here and bring it down. Let's say we want to bring it down to about -6 dB.
Fellow Descript.
Say about -12. Let's see how that sounds.
Back, fellow Descript.
Cool. So I just added in a sound effect that I didn't pay for. I didn't have to look for online. I didn't have to look for on YouTube.
I think we lost your audio, Ramdy.
I hit the mute button when I smacked my microphone. Yeah, so you didn't have to go on any sketchy YouTube downloader site and download the sound effect, do anything like that. I just went to the media tab, very nice and simple, and I found my sound effect. And this is even more useful for music because I love having background music in my videos. Let's see. I love having jazz music in my background. I'm a sucker for it. So let's see. There's a lot of options you have to choose from. You can infinitely scroll through all these options. Let's say I liked this one. We'll go in, we'll drag it into our video. Again, we'll lower the audio. It's about here.
Back, fellow Descriptians. I've literally never said that before. I don't know why I started now. But as you...
Boom, just like that, you have sound effects, video effects, all that stuff that you didn't have to leave Descript for, and you could just stay here away from the scary, scary world. So we have our fine cut, everything nice and finished. And let's say video's good. This is the video we're going with. This is the final product. This is what we're happy with. Let's make some clips for social. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. One is you can go into Underlord. You could say, hey, make me some clips. Or you can go into AI tools and you could go to create clips. and you can fill in this information. You can choose if you want a layout or not. Let's just say we don't want to lay out and we want to edit something ourselves. We want to edit the look ourselves, but you can use a layout if you wanted. But we're going to keep that off. We want 3 clips around 30 seconds. Topic, I don't have anything in mind. I'm just going to say Descript. Go with your heart. See what you like. So it'll do that. It'll do its thing. It'll do its thing. And this is the part where you don't have to do this work. You can just sit back and relax. You can doom scroll for a little bit. And then boom, you have 3 clips ready for you. And they tell you what's in the clips, about how long they are. And you can just go through and edit your clips that way. Nice and easy. Now, these are still horizontal. I believe if I had a layout selected, like a social clip layout, they would be vertical, but I toggled it off. So that's why it's horizontal, but normally it'll be vertical layout. Let's say I have a section in my video where I already know I want a clip. For example, this whole section here, the first thing I really took away from the experience was blah, blah, blah. Let's say I want this whole section to be 1 clip. I can just select it all, right? And then I can go here, duplicate to new composition. We'll open that composition. And now this whole selection is ready for me to edit. I'll go here. I'll change the aspect ratio to portrait. And then again, I can just go through and edit this social clip. I can use my layouts. And I can just click on camera view. It'll zoom it in for me. For this section here, I can change anything I want. I can adjust anything I want. I can adjust this title, multi-select it, bring it up here. I can see what captions they have. Let's see. Let's go with this one. Boom. It adds captions for me automatically that I can adjust however I want. I can change it here. It has a spot where I can add a show name if you had a podcast or a show or anything like that. I don't need that. I'll delete it. It has a gradient. I don't need that. I delete it. Boom. So I don't have to keep anything that it gives me. But it gave me these captions. I like them. I'll keep them. I can change the color to however I want. So you can go ahead and adjust them however you see fit. And then the best part is when you're done, let's go back to our video. Let's say we're done here. I can go up to my export tab in the top right here, and I can publish my video. Boom. That's it. Job done. Now I can download this directly to my computer if I wanted to. You can also upload to a whole bunch of different destinations just from Descript. But it'll make a share page for me, which after it's done loading, is a pretty big file, so it might take a little bit. After it does its thing, it'll create a share page that I can share and send to anybody, and they can watch my video. They can make comments on my video, which is really good for notes, like we talked about earlier. They can download my video from there. They have the transcript and everything. So it's really nice and easy to get your video from a raw file to a finished video that you can share and make adjustments on, make revisements on, and you can have multiple people editing at the same time. Let's go ahead and open our share page here. Boom, just like that. You have your transcripts. You can download from here if you want. You can copy and share this to anybody. So yeah, that is essentially how you go about editing a video all in one place. Did we leave Descript at all during this live demo? No, we didn't, and you don't have to either. Thank you. I'm running for president. Thank you.
You get my vote, Ramdy.
I just need like 1,000 million more.
We got you. Well, thank you for this sweet demo, Ramdy. Now let's open it up to some questions. So go ahead and drop your questions in the YouTube chat, and we will do our best to get through them. Let's see, what do we got? What do we got? Oh, here we go. First question. I will film a baking tutorial for a client soon. Is Descript right for filming and editing these kinds of videos?
Yeah, Descript would be great for this, especially because um, with that multi-track sequence that we talked about earlier that we didn't dive too much into. If you have like different camera views and like different camera shots, like an overhead shot and then just the main camera shot, you can actually sync those up and then easily switch between views in Descript. So that'll save you a ton of time when you're editing. So yeah, Descript will be great for a video like that.
Yeah, and you can use the our automatic multicam feature to do a rough cut for you, so it'll automatically bounce between each different angle of the camera for you automatically, and then you can jump in and then make it your own. You know, if you want to like be like, oh, like I would rather have the overhead shot here, and then you can make it do that.
Super useful.
Cool. Next question. Are you online or is it downloaded on your computer?
Yeah. So this right here, what you're seeing is the Descript app, but I would say I don't even think I use this at all. I'm just using it for the demo. I edit all my videos on the Descript web app, so essentially just on Chrome. So yeah, you can definitely use it online. You don't have to download anything. You don't need like a super fast, expensive editor computer. If you have a laptop, you should be good.
Cool. Next question. I can post the done work anywhere.
Yeah, you can post it anywhere. You can download the video and post it to wherever you want. Again, we also have some places where you can upload the video directly from Descript. But yeah, once you're done with your video, it's yours to do whatever you want with. You can put it on a flash drive and then like bury that flash drive somewhere in your yard so no one will find it. That's what I like to do.
For the next species of human.
Right. Yeah.
Any tips on how to keep the studio sound from sounding overprocessed?
Yes, for sure. So the times that I use studio sound, rarely ever do I have it at max strength, because that's where you can start getting into like the over processed sound. I would say most of the time I have it from like 70 to 60%. It's really just about changing the intensity. And then I feel like this range right here is usually the sweet spot to where it sounds the best to me, but you can always experiment with that and see what works best for you. But yeah, I never have it on full max.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's my sweet spot too. Anywhere between like 60 and 75% is like, that sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right, one more question and then we got to wrap up. Will you talk about credit usage?
In what way? Credits are used for like a lot of AI effects or like any AI things that you want to use. Some of those take credits. I don't know specifically off the top of my head which ones cost credits and which don't.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I do know that most of Underlord usage does require some form of credit usage throughout, but I'm not specifically sure like what the amounts are.
Yeah, but it does tell you.
Yeah, I think there's like a credit usage counter
Yeah.
in Descript now. Oh, in the chat, there is a full guide on credit usage. So feel free to click there and it'll give you a nice little breakdown of media minutes and AI credits. Cool. All right. That wraps up our webinar. A big thank you to Ramdy for the awesome demo and sharing your knowledge with the people at home.
Of course.
A big thank you to Fiona for producing these awesome webinars. Trevor for holding it down in the background and tracking questions and dropping links. And the biggest thank you to all of you at home for tuning in. Hopefully you found this helpful. Once again, if you're on a team, feel free to book a demo using the QR code on the screen. Join us next Thursday, June 25th, my birthday, as we take a raw recording from start to finish live and show off the Look Good AI tools. Eye contact, studio sound, regenerate, jump cut smoothing, and more. We got a lot of awesome new features that were just released and that we are currently in the process of releasing. Also, if you came late and missed anything or you want to review this webinar, the replay of it will be on our YouTube channel. So happy editing, everyone. Go forth, make great video. Anything you want to add, Ramdy?
Yeah, the first one to make the exact video I'm thinking of in my head right now will win $1 billion. I won't be the one giving it to you, but the universe will give it to you in some way, somehow.
Because the universe provides.
Exactly.
And it smiles down on all of us.
Yeah.
So make that video. All right, bye.
Bye, y'all.
If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript. If you need a great audio, it's Descript. If you need a great video, it's Descript.